All right, welcome everyone. We are diving into a really exciting explainer today. And right off the bat, I want to say, what we're about to explore isn't just another generic list of productivity hacks. It's actually a synthesis of some wildly diverse insights. We're pulling from modern entrepreneurial strategies all the way to timeless Eastern philosophies. Think of this as your master blueprint for completely transforming your life, your work, and your mindset. So, have you ever actually stopped and wondered what the hidden blueprint of success looks like? Seriously, when you strip away the luck, the perfect timing, and the specific industries people are in, what are the universal truths that govern high achievement? Why is it that some people manage to push through absolutely insurmountable odds, while others just kind of crumble at the first sign of adversity? Well, that is exactly what we are going to uncover today. We are hunting for the ultimate common denominators of greatness. You see, whether we're talking about the famous morning routines of modern billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates, or the intense, almost monastic focus of historical legends from decades or even centuries ago, they all share the exact same foundation. It's literally a shared DNA of high achievement. They don't rely on magic, right? They rely on very specific, repeatable patterns of behavior and thought that anyone, and yes, that includes you and me, can adopt starting today. Okay, let's get into it. Here is our roadmap for today's masterclass. 1. The habits of success. 2. Mastering deep work. 3. Strategies for handling failure. And 4. Building mental toughness. Starting right at the beginning with Section 1, the habits of success, setting the foundation. Now this is where it all begins. Successful people know that the morning is basically their secret weapon. While the rest of the world is hitting snooze, they're up, quietly building their foundation. They exercise to build physical resilience. They set crystal clear goals so they don't end up just wandering aimlessly through the day. And they commit to learning every single day. Because growth, it never stops. But honestly, the absolute most important point here is the last one. They choose discipline over motivation. Motivation is just a feeling, it comes and it goes. But discipline is a conscious choice. It's doing the work whether you feel like it or not. So let's do a quick reality check. Ask yourself these questions honestly right now. Do you wake up early, or is that snooze button your best friend? Are your goals crystal clear, or are you just sort of drifting through the week hoping for the best? Do you prioritize learning new things, or do you spend your precious free time endlessly scrolling through social media? How you answer these questions is the clearest indicator of your future trajectory. Which brings us to Section 2, Mastering Deep Work, Elite Production. This concept comes from author Cal Newport, and I've got to say, it is arguably the ultimate modern superpower. Newport defines deep work as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their absolute limit. Think about it. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by notifications, endless emails, and loud, open-plan offices, the ability to just sit down and focus intensely on a really hard task, it makes you incredibly rare and, because of that, incredibly valuable. There is just this massive, night and day contrast in how we spend our time. On one side, you've got deep work. This is focused, meaningful creation where elite production actually happens. On the exact opposite side is shallow work. You know the drill. Constant emails, social media, sitting in pointless status meetings. It completely creates the illusion of busyness. You feel totally exhausted by 5 p.m., but you haven't actually created any real value. Organizations often accidentally reward shallow work, but make no mistake, it's deep work that actually moves the needle in your career. To really picture how powerful this is, let's look way back at history. In 1922, the famous Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung wanted to escape the chaotic city life of Zurich to really dive into his work. So what did he do? He didn't just turn off his phone. I mean, they didn't have smartphones anyway, but you get the idea. He literally built a small stone castle with 4 towers on the banks of a lake, a place called the Bullinger Tower. By creating this physical, isolated space, he was able to develop analytical psychology and completely change the 20th century. The takeaway? Depth requires space. So, how do we actually implement this today without, going out and building a stone castle? Newport gives us 4 rapid-fire rules. Number 1, schedule time to work deeply and fiercely protect it. 2, embrace boredom. Seriously, stop reaching for your phone the second you have to wait in line for coffee. Just let your brain rest. 3, quit social media, or at least apply a really strict cost-benefit analysis to it. And 4, drain the shallows. Ruthlessly cut down the time you spend on low-value, repetitive tasks. All right, pivoting to Section 3, strategies for handling failure, separating identity from outcomes. Consider Abraham Lincoln's staggering timeline. He lost a congressional race at 34. He lost a senatorial race at 45. failed to become vice president at 47, lost yet another senatorial race at 49. I mean, it is a decades-long resume of massive, very public defeats, but he kept adapting. He kept pushing forward, and at age 52, he was elected president of the United States. He didn't let those failures define him. He let them refine him.
Because there is a very real cycle to success. You try something, you experience a failure, you adjust, you retry, and eventually you break through to success. The absolute non-negotiable rule here is don't make it personal. You have to separate the failure from your identity. Just because you haven't found a successful way of doing something yet does absolutely not mean you are a failure as a human being.
Once you can separate your ego from the outcome, failure completely transforms. It just becomes a data point. It becomes a puzzle that needs to be systematically solved. So you need to objectively ask yourself, why did I fail? What could I do differently to get a better outcome next time? And crucially, was the failure beyond my control? Because if it was completely out of your hands, you just have to let that frustration go and focus 100% of your energy on what you can actually influence moving forward.
Which brings us to our fourth and final section, building mental toughness, the antidote to chaos.
I absolutely love this quote, and it is a deeply profound concept. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Look, life is going to throw curveballs at you. Sickness, job loss, heartbreak. These things are painful, and that pain simply cannot be avoided. But your suffering? The internal story you tell yourself, playing the victim, constantly dwelling on the unfairness of it all, that is a choice. Developing a broader perspective allows you to accept the pain of a situation without actively choosing the suffering.
Building right on top of that, the Art of Living philosophy provides some highly practical advice for building this mental toughness. You need to have faith that you actually possess the capacity to handle whatever comes your way. You must actively choose to smile and laugh, even when it's really hard, because it physically changes your physiology. But I really want you to notice the last two: help others and connect. The science backs this up completely. Selflessly helping others and maintaining strong, genuine social connections act as an incredible buffer against depression and stress. When you lift other people up, you literally lift your own spirit.
So let's actually make this physical. How do we build this into a practice you can use right this second? Well, when you're stressed, you often subconsciously hold your breath, and that creates massive physical tension. This technique, called Ujjayi breathing, instantly manages that stress. It's simple. You inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold that breath in for 4 seconds, exhale smoothly for 4 seconds, and then hold empty for 2 seconds. Doing this simple physical loop brings immediate, stable circulation to your body and completely calms your nervous system, no matter what kind of chaos is going on around you.
And we tie all of this productivity, all of this resilience, together with mindfulness. As Deepak Chopra famously said, meditation is not a way of making your mind quiet. It is a way of entering into the quiet that is already there. Think about this. The average person has around 50,000 thoughts a day. Mental toughness isn't about going to war with those thoughts. It's about accessing the profound peace that already exists right beneath them. Tapping into that silence gives you the ultimate control over your emotions and your reactions.
So let's wrap this up. We've covered the foundational habits of the greats, the immense, undeniable power of deep work, the logical way to process failure, and the internal, daily practices of mental toughness. But here's the thing. None of this matters at all if it just stays as nice-sounding information. So I'm leaving you with this final, absolutely vital question. What is the one specific habit from this entire blueprint that you are going to apply tomorrow morning? Seriously, don't try to change everything all at once. Just pick one thing. Commit to it. Start building your own stone castle. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.